To all you bitch-made niggas, I'm coming for you. Against all odds. I don't care who the fuck it is, nigga. You touch me, I'm at you. I know you motherfuckers didn't think I forgot.
I told you can't trust these niggas. Now Puffy done killed Tupac, man.
Lowest the list. Please, please, God told me to ask y'all for help. I need your help. I need your help. I can't do it alone. I'm overwhelmed. I'm going crazy. And God, I beg you, I beg you, I beg you. I'm fighting this fight, and to other people, it's an impossible. It's not impossible. It's going to happen.
The video of Diddy in a full panic after the news of Keefe D's arrest is just the first domino to fall in this house of cards that has been crumbling for decades. And if things continue to go the way that they're going, it won't be long until the truth about Biggie's murder gets uncovered as well. Most importantly, who was the mastermind behind Biggie's murder? Things are about to get interesting. Check this shit out.
He said, I'm a businessman. I'm about making money. But something gotta change. I don't give a fuck if Pac gotta die, Big gotta die, or Suge Knight go to jail. Something's gotta change. And it didn't dawn on me what he said. And then my man looked at me and Bun was like, yo, that nigga said Big. And next thing you know, I've gotten phone calls. I got a phone call from Unique from Mecca Audio. Right? And Unique from Mecca Audio say, yo, vest up. You know, those guys is coming to get y'all. He said, yeah, it's going to be some street shit, bruh. I'm letting you know that. So I call him. I say, Puff. He comes to the top of the staircase. And I say, yo, Puff, I got some intel, brother. The guys are coming to kill us tonight at the museum party. He said, Gene, I don't want to hear that shit. He said, you ain't got to go if you don't want to go. I just start bamming on the table. Boom, 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 boom. I said, fuck, man. And he said, cause I had that feeling inside me and something just came over. I said, yo, but I had my vest on, Alex. I said, yo, this shit's gonna go down. And then I said, somebody said, well, Gene, what's wrong with you? I said, my man is coming to kill us tonight and y'all niggas is joking like it's a joke or something. I called my block on 112th Street. I said, yo, Slick, I got a call from Unique and Chad told me some gonna come, you know, get at us tonight. He said, listen, brother, don't fuck with them. Don't go then. Puff said he told you not to go. Don't go. I said, nah, I ain't gonna leave them kids out like that. I walked outside. Guess who's outside? It's Big, Tone, D-Rock, and Lil C's and G-Money. They in the car right there. Tone and D-Rock is outside. I say, Big. He said, yo, what up, Gene? I said, yo, man, nigga try to come kill us tonight, Big. The Peterson Museum. So when I said to Paul said we was ready to go, I say, all right, follow us. I tried to ride on the side of the car. Puff said, yo, Gene, what you doing? I said, I'm riding on the side of the car. I'm gonna have my gun out. I'm on the side of the car. At the time, I'm 265. You know what I'm saying? I'm not this 330. You know what I mean? So I was a little slimmer back then. So he says to me, Gene, if you don't get in this car, you ain't gonna never work for Bad Boy ever again. I said, man, how the fuck you gonna try to tell me how to do my job? He said, Gene, we don't need that look. We don't need that look. Get in the car. As I go to get in the car, this motherfucker reached down and let his seat all the way back. So now I gotta put my legs sideways. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is you doing? And so then Kenny said, you ready? He said, you ready? I said, Kenny, run the next 3 lights. Run the next 3 lights, Kenny. Kenny said, for what? I said, motherfucker, run the next 3 lights, Kenny, or I'm gonna drive. Run the next 3 lights. Kenny just took off. When he took off, we got past the light, because it was a flashing red light. We got past the light, and when we got across the street, Tone, who was behind me, said, yo, somebody in the car pointing a gun at Big and them. I goes to open the door. Fucking, next thing you know, you hear it say, "Pop!"
The vehicle with Puffy in it goes through the light. The light begins to turn red, and the vehicle with Biggie slows to come to a stop. Just at that time, a dark Impala pulls up alongside a vehicle that Biggie's in.
Once we get across the light, Tone, he looking back, he said, yo, somebody pointing a gun at Big.
I was behind Big. He was in the passenger seat, and this car just rolled up on the side of us and just started shooting in the truck.
Get down.
That is Big in there.
Somebody got shot.
Y'all get down, rapidly.
Kenny guns the car going forward. I'm screaming like, Kenny, turn this MF around. He said he's shooting at Big, Kenny.
The Impala then quickly makes a right onto Wilshire Boulevard. The security guy attempts to give chase, but Black Impala has disappeared into the night.
Somebody got shot.
Y'all get down, rapidly. So she can see.
No, Biggie got shot.
Oh, Lord, fuck shit. Oh, they kicking.
Oh, somebody got shot.
Yeah, that was 5 shots fired.
Oh, look at that wreck.
Y'all, crank up the car, please. I'm ready to go. We have to get out.
911 emergency, what are you reporting? Yeah, we need an ambulance on Fairfax and Wilshire. Please, Los Angeles. We have a man shot. Wilshire Boulevard. Okay, hold on, I'll get that. Right on the corner, Wilshire and Fairfax. Fire department. Yeah, we need a Wilshire and Fairfax. What? Fairfax! What kind of car was it? I don't know. I don't know what street I'm on.
Okay, sir, how many people are hurt?
It's one shot. Okay. They drove up next to us and just shot us the car on the passenger side.
Okay.
Take a left, man. Big, you hear me, baby? Yo, just go ahead, man. Go straight, yo.
I never knew it myself, and I didn't know it that night that those stickers was on the car. I didn't know that till years later. But anytime you see any kind of things like that on a vehicle, on a street sign, on a wall, it comes from the street team. So somebody was put up to do that because they didn't put it on Puff car. And those cars was rented. So to put those stickers on there, you defacing the property. You understand? Somebody got to pay for that. So my whole thing about it is that it was somebody in our crew that wanted them to know that Big was in that vehicle. And to separate it, that's where you get there was more than one people trying to kill us. You understand? Big was leaving the label. Big wanted his marketing back. Big wanted his publishing back. So he found out as being an artist, yo, the money is in the publishing. Big learned how to put his publishing in other people's names to stop him from getting the money that he was owed. But Big had to play the game because Big wanted to get his publishing back and his marketing that he had sold out to Puff.
A question I keep getting asked is what incentive would Puff Daddy have to take Big out the picture? And as you were about to see, Biggie was flat broke and he was planning on leaving Bad Boy to join Rockefeller. He even had the contract in hand. Big was locked in a horrible contract with Bad Boy that left him with no money and Diddy making millions off of his name. And think about all the other people who were signed to Bad Boy who either had their lives ruined or went flat broke. We saw it with Craig Mack. We saw it with Mace. Think about the situation with his shine. What Diddy did to him was diabolical. He literally hung him out to dry, left him to serve 10 years in prison, and while he was in prison, he released his album and made millions off of it. And Big was tired of doing all the things that Puffy was making him do. He was tired of wearing the weird outfits and doing poppy songs and dancing all crazy in music videos. He wanted to branch out and do his own thing. And think about the very first thing that Puffy did after Biggie died. This was straight blasphemy. He got together with Faith Evans, the woman who cheated on him, with his mortal enemy and made a remembrance song. And the entire time he was laughing all the way to the bank. And here's Gene Deal explaining how he saw Biggie's contract for Rockefeller and Biggie's contract with Bad Boy. He saw what was about to happen. He knew Big was leaving Bad Boy. And so did Diddy. Check this shit out.
Let me see what's in the briefcase. And I seen Big contract, and it was talking about, well, you get 250,000, for signing. You're going to get another 250,000 if the thing go gold. Then you're going to get this much and you're going to get that much. And then at the end of the contract, I was skimming through it. At the end of the contract said, we're going to discuss about you getting your publishing and your marketing back. And Big was showing me a contract because I was saying to Big, Big was like, yo, Gene, I like you. I would take you with me, bro. How you going to take me with you and you broke? Yo, how you know that? Oh, shit. He said, but I'm about to get this money. So he showed me, I said, you about to get that money? He said, yeah, look at this. It had Charlie Baltimore, Cameron, Little C's, Little Kim, Junior Mafia. The contract was for so many years for like 62 million. It comes out to like $62 million. I was like, that's what I said. I was like, damn. So then his mother had called. She was fussing with him on the phone. I could hear her because he owed the contractor $60,000 for a house that she was building in Philly. So then when he got out the phone, I said, motherfucker, I told you was broke. Because he was telling Mom, don't worry about it. Give me the number. Just give me his number. He ain't gonna stop building nothing. He ain't gonna stop building nothing. I'm gonna handle it. I'm gonna take care of it. You understand? I was like, yeah. I said, I told when he got off the phone, I said, nigga, motherfucker, I told you was broke.
You said that the same people that was trying to kill Puffy are the same people that was trying to kill Suge. What makes you say that?
Because if Suge said that Rafael Perez and David Mack was trying to kill him, those are the same people that was trying to kill Big. Because David Mack and Rafael Perez was seen at the scene. They got pictures of them at the scene. Rafael Perez was picking up bullets at the scene. Cops know you do not mess with the evidence. You leave the evidence right where it's at. So, bruh, they couldn't get Puff. And Big was collateral damage.
So pretty much what you're saying, right? And I'm trying to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. You're saying that the same people that killed Biggie are the same people that killed Tupac, LAPD.
If Suge says, if you solve one murder, you solve them both, I got to go with the eyewitness. And I don't know why would Suge say that when Keefe D says that it was him, Orlando, and Dre and them in the car together. But why Suge would say, if you solve one murder, you solve them both. He said that in the documentary. Like I said, man, I just believe that somebody was made to say something. And if I hope the Vegas Police Department do their due diligence and get down to the bottom of it and make the truth come out.
I mean, that is consistent with what you was telling me some months ago, how you felt like, the whole Tupac Vegas situation was an inside job. So, I mean, it's consistent with what you've been telling me, so.
It don't take a rocket scientist for this, man.
But what you think the motive was, though, behind them wanting to kill Tupac? Like, what's the reason?
What's the root of all evil?
Money.
Money. Somebody wanted control of some money. Some people were spending money that they shouldn't have been spending. Some people were stealing money that they shouldn't have been stealing. Some people had money they shouldn't have had. And I think if I heard correctly, Tupac put an audit in 2 weeks or 3 weeks prior to his murder and start firing people and trying to figure out where his money was at and where it was going. So now, if you've been stealing money and you inside and everything could be connected to you, what are you going to do? Get this hothead in a situation. It just could have been that I'm going to get this hothead in a situation, and if Tupac caught on tape doing something like he was doing, he going back to jail. His papers is going to be revoked. So he's got to go back to jail anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about that. I mean, Tupac, he was a hothead, so.
So I'm gonna get him into something to cause him to react in that manner. And what happens? He get caught up in Orlando, Dan Marino jersey video. That went over your head.
Following Biggie's murder in 1997, numerous jailhouse informants came forward with claims about who had committed the crime. And the one that would get the most attention was from an inmate named Michael Robinson, who, even though he was a schizophrenic, convicted murderer, would become the foundation of the Detective Russell Poole theory that an LAPD officer and his friend had murdered Biggie. But Michael Robinson's statement, which you will hear in this episode for yourself, has been wildly misrepresented by Russell Poole and others over the years. Even after we put segments of this interview into the Murder Rap documentary 6 years ago, Poole's friends and collaborators have continued to pretend that this recording doesn't even exist. And when you hear it, you'll know exactly why. At the time that Michael Robinson gave this statement, where he allegedly named Biggie's killer, he was in the LA County Jail in Castaic with another man named Waymond Anderson. Anderson had been a singer in the 80s whose cover of My Girl for Capitol Records had been a minor hit. But then a few years later, Anderson was convicted of a 1993 arson murder for a fire in a drug den behind this apartment building near USC's campus that killed a person. Anderson got life in prison for it. And he's come forward himself with some wild tales over the years about the murders of both Tupac and Biggie, even though he'd been in jail for years by the time of the murders. Anderson would claim that Michael Robinson got some of his information from him while they were housed together in the same unit in jail. The statement given by Michael Robinson in 1997 would form the foundation for Russell Poole's entire theory that LAPD officer David Mack had conspired with a friend named Amir Muhammad to kill Biggie. Amir Muhammad was a mortgage broker living in the San Diego area at the time. He had been college friends with David Mack. When David Mack went to jail for a bank robbery, Amir Muhammad visited him in jail. And this visit, combined with what Michael Robinson would say in his interview, would make Amir Muhammad Russell Poole's prime suspect for the next 2 decades. Without Michael Robinson, Poole's theory never exists. In April of 1997, just a few weeks after Biggie's murder, Waymond Anderson had come forward with a claim that Suge Knight had approached him in jail about the Biggie murder. A claim that was later disproven by the fact that he and Suge were never together at the inmate reception center in LA like he'd claimed. 3 months later, on July 10th, 1997, Michael Robinson then stepped forward and took his shot. Michael Robinson was interviewed by RHD Detective Ball, and an LA sheriff sergeant named Valdemar. And this interview is, frankly, bananas.
July 10, 1997, the time is approximately 14:10 hours. My name is Detective Ted Ball, B-A-L-L. My number is 17549 from Robbery Homicide Division. This is a tape-recorded interview with Michael Robinson. Is it R-O-B-I-N-S-O-N, Michael?
Yes.
And your date of birth?
11/24/57.
11/24/57. Your booking number?
591.
Excuse me, could it be 15109?
Yes, that's
019.
019.
Okay, and that's what's on your wrist?
Yeah.
Okay, also in attendance at this interview is a LASO Sergeant, Richard Valdemar.
In 2002, a book about Russell Poole's theory came out called Labyrinth, followed a couple years ago by a follow-up book called Dead Wrong. And that second book claims that Sergeant Valdemar, who was one of Robinson's handlers as an informant, and who was in this interview with the RHD detective, was actually asked to leave the room as soon as he introduced Detective Ball to Robinson. And that because Valdemar was asked to leave, it's implied that we couldn't be certain that the detective's account of what Robinson said was accurate. But as you just heard in the first clip, the detective introduces Valdemar on tape at the beginning of the interview, and the recording never shows him asking Valdemar to leave. And there is a third voice in the room chiming in throughout this interview. And again, we don't have to take the detective's word about what Robinson said, because it was taped. Is this the tape that Russell Poole didn't want us to hear because he was the one that misrepresented what was said on it? 5.5 minutes into this interview, we get to why we're here. This is the Russell Poole theory's big moment. Michael Robinson is going to tell us firmly and without a doubt the name of Biggie's killer. And that
Phillips, aka Ammar Mohammed, is a possible hitman. He's godfather to Officer Mack's kids. Officer Mack was later convicted for this bank robbery.
You had a witness in Biggie's entourage who identified David Mack as being at the Peterson Museum. The car used in the case was a black SS Chevy Impala, and David Mack owned one of those. The fact that David Mack took family illness days off just prior to the Biggie Smalls case, which indicates there had to be some planning, and he couldn't be bothered with going to work.
Officers Mack, Perez, and Gaines were part of a bigger police scandal, the Rampart scandal, linking officers throughout the LAPD to various forms of corruption. To find out more, we went to interview Sonia Flores at her lawyer's office.
Get mad? No, I'm not going to get mad. Reg already knew that he worked in law enforcement. So anybody that get on the platform and say, you a police? Yes, I was. Period. Now motherfucker that worked at that road can deny that and say he wasn't. Nobody that
or didn't know that.
Wait a minute, that was back then, that era, can't say they didn't know that we had more than one police officer in that motherfucker. We had police officers hanging out and robbing banks and shit.
No, you didn't. Don't say no shit like that. I ain't never met none of no motherfuckers before in my life.
But anyway,
yeah.
Shit was so, listen. Shit.
I don't know those
people
motherfuckers.
Because it goes to show you, again, at a certain point, man, maybe when he's an old man, he'll just stop lying. Why do you still go on the internet? For what? Just go away. Like,
I hope he keep himself.
Go somewhere. Because what is the point? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. What does he still talk about? Does anyone go on those guys' show and just ask him and Mob why they were FBI informants? Has anyone just done that?
No, they don't believe they are. They don't believe it. It's like, y'all really believe that Reggie is sitting out here doing all this shit and he's not an informant. But he stays on the internet calling everybody a rat. And he calls Sugar Ray, everybody's a rat. Everybody's a rat. And he's Splinter. He's the king rat.
He worked for the FBI, and that's a fact. There's no argument. Someone should go on whatever shows those guys go on and say, hey, I'd really love to hear how you became an FBI informant. I would love to hear that story. Can you tell me that story? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But I would just just tell the story. I even know the first name of the handler who was Reggie's handler at the FBI. I'm not going to say the person's name because he doesn't want to be known publicly.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, but so what? Like, why don't you tell that story? Because you know what? That's an interesting story, right? If you were an informant for the FBI while you were at death row, how interesting a story is that, right? These guys want to tell all of these stories. Why don't you tell that story at this point? You're old men.
Right. I would love to hear that shit. That would be so
I think actually that would be the most fascinating podcast that they've ever done, or whatever YouTube video.
Yeah,
would be the origin story. Huh?
How many people he set up? Got caught with guns?
I mean, listen. Yeah.
Remember
it would
he said
be amazing to hear how they kept that from Suge, how they kept that from the people in their lives, and why. I would be curious, and hopefully at some point they can tell that story.
That would be amazing.
And an even better story would be finally for Greg Kading to write another book about why he made up murder rap and explain. How great would that be? That would sell more copies than his first book.
Trick the world.
And no one actually in this day and age would care. He'd probably be richer and he'd be more famous. He'd be like the dumb LAPD detective that made up a story, and then guess what? I'm going to tell you the real story. And in this day and age, that would actually fucking sell in the crazy world we live in.
It would definitely sell because these people are goofy enough.
And if they were smart, they should all just get together and tell the truth, and then they'd really have a story. You know, that would be fun.
Trayvon Lane sees him and tells everybody in the crew, hey, that's the guy that jumped me. You know, from what I understand, he didn't go to Tupac and whisper in his ear. He told all the big homies that there's someone in the area that's potentially a danger.
If and this where I say BS. If he went to the homies would have went after that cat and dealt with him. Not after Tupac go get him, but the homies would have dealt with that. And Suge should have allowed the homies and let the homies deal with that situation, not Tupac. This ain't your business. But Tupac goes over there and take off. He threw the first blow. Yeah. Then after that, everybody else is on him.
Okay, and Buntree was part of that crew?
Yeah, everybody was there.
Neckbone, a bunch of dudes.
I mean, I ain't gonna give you a roll call, but I mean,
it's all on camera. I mean,
yeah, exactly. It's all on camera.
I'm not.
So if you know the faces, you see everybody that's there. Everybody that was there got a lick in, which
including Shook.
I mean, this guy got up. Yeah, this guy got up. Wasn't busted up. I mean, I know he was hurting because they was kicking the shit out of him, and. Now, that's like kicking a dog. This little dude is with the business in his neighborhood.
Right. I mean, Orlando was being investigated for multiple murders at the time, and he was known to be a real gangster from Southside.
He was a little young hitter.
Yeah.
He was with it. And I think those guys should have did their homework before they let Tupac go over there and mess with him.
Well, I interviewed Reggie. And, he said...
I didn't see him until about 2 or 3 hours after that incident happened. He was concerned about Pop. This all of concern. To say that he was upset with me or anything like that, those conversations didn't come until later.
Suge knew it was consequences from the beginning.
Yeah.
Suge knew it was consequences when they put the $10,000 on the chain. You know, a lot of people sitting here and if it wasn't for Suge, none of this would ever happen. None of this would be. Southside would be in their neighborhood and Mob would be in their neighborhood. All this other bullshit is stems from Suge. So Tupac could still be here, and maybe the majority of the guys that's on death row will still be here. But all of this is Suge Knight.
Okay. So the fight happens. Pac goes back to his room and change and everything else like that. And they start making their way towards Club 662.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, Keefe, Orlando, and the other guys in the car are looking for Suge and Tupac. Some girls saw Tupac and started yelling, which kind of alerted the Southside guys. And they pull up to the car and shoot the car up.
For number one, they knew that the Southsides was there. They knew what kind of car they was driving.
Because you told them.
Yeah, you got 15, 20 cars following each other. Y'all don't see this car coming past y'all? How did they get away? You know, Buntry chased them. Woo. I mean, they shouldn't have got away.
Because Buntry was in the caravan?
Yeah. Now, it's fight night. Vegas is packed. Anybody go to Vegas, Mike Tyson fight. Las Vegas Boulevard is packed. Gang of people. How did they get away? Orlando was mad at Suge that this situation happened because he told Suge, fuck you and your money. This I know. What do you mean by that? What did this do?
When did Orlando tell Suge, fuck you and your money?
At the MGM.
Oh, okay.
So whatever he had working with him, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But why would he tell him that? So
Orlando told him that after he got jumped?
When he got jumped, he was hollering, fuck you and your money.
Mm.
And while these people around him and they all walking out the door. They mobbing real fast. And if you look at that video, you see Tupac in front of everybody, walking like come on, man. You just signed your death.
Well, you yourself said that Orlando was the one that killed Tupac.
Yeah, Orlando killed Tupac.
Yeah. And I had been hearing this for the last 15 years from, friends of mine from Compton and everything else like that. It was like the worst kept secret in Compton.
Well, a lot of people didn't want to talk about it because, especially his uncle. If he'd have said it while Orlando was alive, that's snitching. You just send your nephew to prison and yourself.
Because he was in the car.
Yeah, so they ain't saying nothing. But now that he's gone and a lot of key players are gone, everybody can talk about it now, and everybody is talking about it. But you hear that the police wanted Tupac because he was just Mustafa. No.
Or Suge got Tupac killed because he was going to leave.
Well, some of them stories you hear, but just didn't let it go out the other ear.
Right.
If you understand what I'm saying.
Because that car was riddled with bullets from front to back. This was not the concept of Suge paying someone to kill Tupac while he's in the car.
That's why.
Graze him in the head. Like it was the stupidest conspiracy theory.
That's
I've
why
ever heard.
people were saying that, why did Orlando say what he said? And Orlando pretty much told him, if this going down, nigga, fuck you and your money, I'm going to get you too. And you just got stumped out by a gang of bloods. And here he is. It's like, man, we finna get these fools.
Right.
And they didn't have a choice.
Right. Standard protocol for people in that life.
And all the homies should have known, man, that little cat ain't finna let that slide. That's not finna just go by. And they were shocked that it happened just like that. They didn't even make it to the club.
So the shooting happened. I actually interviewed Chris Carroll, who was the first responder of Vegas police that showed up. He essentially told me that Tupac's last words were "fuck the police."
I looked at him once again. I said, "What happened? Who did this? Who shot you?" And now he's looking at me, so we're looking at each other in the eyes. And this is kind of the first time he's even acknowledging my presence. And he looked at me, and I could tell he was getting a breath together to tell me. And he looked me right in the eyes, and we looked at each other, and he said, "Fuck you." And he said it just like that, with the emphasis on that F.
I don't know.
Suge and Tupac get taken to the hospital, but you're still back at 662.
Yeah.
You get word of what just happened.
Yeah.
But people weren't thinking that Tupac was going to die because Tupac has been shot other times and he survived.
When Suge came to the club, we asked what was going on. Everybody was finna leave. They was finna shut 662 down. Suge said no, he gonna be all right. He was hit in his medallion. So everybody kept partying. We all stayed there and we partied all night. And I think the next morning or something, day after, they said Tupac was dead. So
Keefe D, who's seated in the right front passenger seat of the white Cadillac and who has the gun, realizes that he's not going to be in a position to shoot because he's going to have to shoot across the car and across the face of his driver. Keefe D turns around to hand the gun to the back seat, attempting to give it to DeAndre Smith, who would be in the best position to shoot. DeAndre resists, puts his hand up and says, "Nah, no thanks, not me."
I gave it to Dre, and Dre was like, "No." And Lane's like, "Dude, fuck, dude."
Orlando Anderson, who's in the right rear passenger, reaches forward and says, "Give me that motherfucker." Leans over DeAndre Smith out the back window of the Cadillac and begins shooting rapidly into the BMW.
So Orlando shot across Dre? He leaned over on the window, rolled down the window, pop.
So Orlando would have had to lean over the top of Dre, right?
Yeah, he did.
You say Suge looks over, he sees you?
Yeah.
He looks right at you?
Yeah, he looks at me.
Why are you looking right at me?
Fucking known each other since we were 7, 8 years old.
Backing up Keefe D's claim that he and Knight knew each other was a witness who was in Las Vegas, part of the death row entourage, who was present during the shooting of Tupac Shakur, who said that Knight stated he knew who the shooters were and that they were Southside Crips.
I seen a bullet going Suge in. I thought he was dead.
So Tupac's trying to jump in the back seat. And what Suge doing? Just ducking?
Ducking. He couldn't really duck because he was too big, you know? Yeah.
Keefe D has now identified his own nephew as the murderer of Tupac Shakur.
Bolstering Keefe D's claim was an informant in 1997 who told investigators that Puffy had hired the Southside Crips to kill both Suge and Tupac, and that the Crip who was jumped at the MGM was in the group that had done the hit, and that they originally were going to do it at Suge's Vegas nightclub, but then decided to do it right away instead of waiting. This was exactly the same story that Keefe D told us a decade later.
What witnesses were saying, though, was that when they saw the arm stick out the window and do the shooting, it wasn't a skinny arm. It was a bulky, hefty-looking arm.
Well, I was in the passenger seat. No way, you know.
I'm not saying it's you. I'm saying that there's 4 people in the car, but they said it wasn't a skinny arm that stuck his hand out the window.
Who the witness?
Can't say.
Okay. They lying? Was they there?
Yes. They were there.
Yeah. Only witness it was Suge Knight and, you know, me. Only 2 persons left. I kind of seen this little shit. You know what I'm saying? He trying to say it's me and all this shit.
I'm not saying it's you.
He's so full of shit.
What witnesses were saying, though, was that when they saw the arm stick out the window and do the shooting, it wasn't a skinny arm. It was a bulky, hefty-looking arm.
Well, I was in the passenger seat. No way, you know.
I'm not saying it's you. I'm saying that there's 4 people in the car, but they said it wasn't a skinny arm that stuck his hand out the window.
Who the witness?
Can't say.
Okay. They lying? Was they there?
Yes. They were there.
Okay. Only witness it was Suge Knight and, you know, me. Only two persons left. I kind of seen this little shit. You know what I'm saying? He trying to say it's me and all that little shit.
I'm not saying it's you.
He's so full of shit.
For a Las Vegas Metro police officer by the name of Patrick Barry, and it outlined that due to the circumstances of it being a charitable event, Tupac's personal bodyguards would have to surrender their weapons. Tupac's security detail was run by a former Compton cop called Reggie Wright Jr., who through information found by his father, Reggie Wright Sr., being the head of Compton PD's gang division, formed a relationship with Suge Knight sometime between 1993 and 1994, where Suge Knight paid him $300,000 to start Right Way's Protective Services, where Suge Knight, at the request of his distributor being Jimmy Iovine over at Interscope Records, hired police security through Reggie Wright Jr.'s former ties to law enforcement.
I insisted that they get real security. Real cops.
Tupac's bodyguards, Frank Alexander and Michael Moore, who are standard security detail, not being former cops, had a meeting at the home of the attorney's house on the morning of September 7th, along with Reggie Wright Jr., where they were told to leave their weapons behind in their car due to the event taking place. One of the bodyguards, by the name of Michael Moore, refused to give over his weapon, so he was removed from Tupac, with Suge Knight requesting that at least 5 bodyguards be present, as they were going to attend a Mike Tyson fight, but with Michael Moore being removed by security, this left Tupac with just Frank Alexander.
I had 2 of the toughest guys for him, and Reggie pulled him off of me. It didn't have to happen.
Michael Moore, due to not surrendering his weapon, was told to stay at Club 662 with Reggie Wright Jr. So now, Tupac, as part of getting past the 3 strikes laws, with it being moved to Las Vegas, the lawyers had outlined...
Suge specifically told the former security chief to send guys out who would protect Pac, but that never happened. Reggie Wright refused to listen because he was in on the deal. Suge told us,
Like I said, I had 2 of the toughest guys for him, and Reggie pulled him off of me. It didn't have to happen. I told him to send 5 guys from the club to there, and they never sent nobody.
Moreover, Reggie has always denied knowing, employing, or associating with the police officers David Mack or Rafael Perez, who were both linked to Death Row Records and the murder of Tupac. During the interview, Suge confirmed that Reggie and Perez were friends and that they were crucial players behind the hit on Pac. According to Suge, the same circle of people were involved in both the deaths of Tupac and Biggie.
Red light at the corner of Flamingo and Koval. 2 cars stop in front of the vehicle carrying Suge and Tupac. Tupac's bodyguard pulls up directly behind. With Suge and Tupac focused on the women on their left, they don't notice the late model Cadillac pulling up on their right.
So now it's completely blocked in, and there's absolutely nowhere for him to go. My thoughts and the conspiracies and everything like that was out there, they no longer existed. Why didn't they exist? Because I started seeing the writing on the wall. Then I started seeing all the people that was getting killed, all in death row that was around us at that time, okay? And you just asked me that question, am I fearful for doing the documentaries and doing the book? Man, I'm going to take one of Pac's quotes. They can only kill me once. That was my first thought. Okay, they can only kill me once. I'm going to die anyway. And then the next one was, after I put out all of this information, if Suge Knight felt bold enough to want to put a hit on me or want to come after me, then this is who killed me.
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, you know, FBI tapes and wirings, you know, from when they were calling me death threats. I got death threats. I got death threats.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah. But they were left on my answering machine. And my phone was being wired and tapped. As little as, you know, they knew.
His father, allegedly, his father put it in Compton evidence. We know you can't do that, right? So what happens is when the day after Orlando gets killed, this gun that mysteriously found in Corey Edwards' girlfriend's backyard, her father comes out to walk the dog. The dog is running around with the gun in his mouth, right? He gets this gun, he calls the cops. They take the gun goes to Compton evidence. One of the detectives that's working on the Biggie case sees the gun in evidence and sees Corey Edwards' girlfriend's address on it. and they are looking for a 40 Glock, right? They looking for a 40 Glock in the Tupac case, in the 9mm, and the Biggie case. He sees a 40 Glock, and he goes and he takes the gun, does the shooting, and goes and runs the gun. The gun comes back identical match as the Tupac gun. The gun in Tupac's case. They take the gun, they send the gun over to Vegas and say, yo, this is the match in the Tupac case, this gun, right? Now, somebody strangely takes this gun and throws it over the gate over Corey Edwards' girlfriend's backyard. This gun goes into evidence, the cop sees it, he runs it, boom. It comes back as the match to kill Tupac, right? They send the gun to Vegas. Vegas tells them, no, it ain't a match. We did a test on it, y'all got it wrong, it ain't a match, that ain't the gun. Throw the whole shit out. That's the gun he's talking about. Now, how did the gun that get back turned back to Reggie end up? Because they ran the test, and the test allegedly came back as the gun that got tested in Santa Monica, because they ran it. So now when it came back, this was the gun that was ran earlier. It was fatal gun. Now it's the gun that killed Tupac. But the last person to have the gun allegedly was Reggie. Now Reggie says the thing about the gun in his deposition in the Biggie case. They asked him about this gun. Did Kevin Hackey ever give you a gun? No. What gun? No. Nobody ever gave you a gun? No. So Kevin Hackey never gave you a gun from the House of Blues. Oh, that gun. Yeah. Oh, well, who gun was it, Reggie? I think it was Tupac's. Oh no, well, one of Tupac's boys or whatever. So what happened to the gun, Reggie? I think I gave it to he don't know what happened to the gun. But you go on bomb first. This nigga, yeah, man, that gun, I took it, I kept it, we went to the bar. He ain't missing a beat about this gun. He know everything about the gun, but in the deposition, he couldn't remember shit, right? So he says he took the gun and threw it over, and he had security throw it in the water, right? I know that's bullshit. Well, I don't know if he threw the gun in the water, whatever. But that gun came back to be a match, and it was the fatal gun. But I know more about that, but I can't tell it here. I gotta tell you about that off the record. You know what I'm saying? But that's what you're talking about. That gun. They wanted to know if you knew about that gun. But clearly you didn't.
I didn't, but it's the interesting part of that story is it being in the evidence locker of the Compton Police Department, which if you know anything about the Compton Police Department, that evidence locker was used like a fucking Costco, you know? It was like, what do we want? We want guns, we'll go sell them, we'll fucking put them on people, we'll take drugs, we'll put the drugs on people, we'll sell the drugs. I mean, the Compton Police Department, and in the podcast I have about Pac, that's what I really go into, is the Compton Police Department run by, Reggie Wright Sr. And if you were to understand the full story there, that gun story really makes sense to me, that it ended up there at some point. And again, put two and two together. What was the evidence locker used by Reggie Wright Sr. and other people within the Compton PD was almost like a free-for-all, right? Mm-hmm. There was no record keeping. There's so many stories about missing drugs, missing guns. I had people tell me that what they would do is they would take guns from the evidence locker, and those would be the guns that they would put on people to charge them with things if they didn't like them, Right. So, again, this is just a symptom of corruption that went in Compton that Reggie and his father were at ground zero of,
Right. There's one cop that got caught with 2 bricks in his personal locker. They went, I can't think of his name. They went to him and they like, yo, open your locker. And he's like, no. They like, open your locker. He's like, no. They go get the cutters. He jumps in his car, take off.
In your personal opinion, let's say we don't know
or let's say we forget about what we saw or heard in murder rap, do you personally feel like Puffy would be capable of being involved to the extent that he was implemented?
Well, I mean, y'all want to make Puffy a choir boy. And everybody went, oh, Puffy wouldn't do that, Puffy wouldn't do that. Well, gay guys are tough too. I'm gonna be honest. Homosexuals are some tough dudes. And they gangsters too in their own way. So there's some gangster guys that are gay. Flaming gay. Shit, fucking, I'll go far enough to say drag queens that you better not fuck with, right? But y'all want to make Puffy a choir boy for some reason. Okay. It's the song that was done by Black Rob in 1999, 1998. What's the name of that song, John? You know it offhand? I don't, but I can find it for you. Okay. Well, this particular song and the reason why I asked John about it, because we didn't, he didn't know I was going to bring this up. But I mentioned it to him recently, was like, Puffy is outright bragging about putting $1 million on people's heads, taking their social security number, and I don't know, y'all listen to the song on your own. I'll have John pin it in the comment section. But
The song is called Muscle Game, Reggie.
It's called what?
Muscle Game.
Muscle Game by Black Rock. And he's saying all of this like 1998, 1999, bragging about, subliminally, like I always tell you those New York dudes do, subliminally talking shit. Even Black Rob say, yeah, I'll make sure your 4-4 ain't gonna do shit for us. That 4-4 ain't gonna do nothing. You're gonna need more than a 4-4 or something like that in the song. Y'all go listen to that song. Y'all go listen to what Biggie was saying on Long Kiss Goodbye. Y'all go listen to that interview that John posted up where Puffy was talking shit and bragging with Julio G on the West Coast. All of that stuff right there alone. Today, if Puffy did that song with the YouTube police and the sophistication that they have, if they played that song and broke that song down, get an expert, one of you guys that's an expert on song breaking down stuff, hopefully my boy Almighty Trey or somebody like that could quote the words and put them in writing in there of all the stuff he was talking about in that particular song. A good DA would take and play that song, and I think that alone, in 2023, I'm not saying in 1998, 1999, they wasn't smart enough, law enforcement wasn't smart enough, but let these young motherfuckers do some shit like that talking in a song right now. They'll be before a federal grand jury. I know this is not a federal case, but they will think of something to get them on. And so without Keefe D's statement of saying that him and Puffy had that meeting and he offered the money and put it out there, no. But Las Vegas PD, get an expert, break that song down. I'm throwing y'all hints. I'm dry snitching like a motherfucker. Go listen to that song. Get that song. Put that song out. Break that song down, along with Keefe D's statement. Y'all might get a conviction or at least an indictment on Puffy Combs. Make him spend some of that $1 billion. That's all y'all really want to do. That's what it's all really about. But hey, as soon as this go down, I show, because me and Tupac's family attorney talk daily. I'll tell y'all, the family attorney talks daily. I'm going to show help him break it down. And we're going to go after you, Puff. We're going after some of that money. gonna help him. But I'd like to see you in some handcuffs too, right along with Keefy D. But I know that's gonna be a long shot. I'm not up here saying that it's going to happen, but it could. You people that like to break down music, y'all post it in the comment section. Y'all listen to that song. I bet y'all agree with me. I know a lot of you New York haters and Puffy haters and all that, Puffy lovers. It's gonna be, oh, this nigga crazy. He always talking shit. He don't know shit. He's the dumbest motherfucker in the world. For people that really objective, go listen to it. Check it out. Bet you tell me in the comment section, ooh, Red, you might be on to something, dawg. Bet you.
If you have been on social media for the last few days, then you should already know that after 27 years, a man has finally been arrested in connection with the murder of Tupac Shakur. Tupac, who was one of the 90s biggest rap stars, was taken out back in September 1996 after being ambushed in a drive-by style attack after leaving the Mike Tyson fight in Las Vegas. For the longest, the story was that Tupac was taken out because him and his crew had jumped Orlando Anderson, who they spotted during the Mike Tyson boxing match and had a previous beef with. After Orlando got jumped, he got his uncle Keefy D and 2 others to jump in a vehicle and hunt down Tupac. They quickly spotted him, and that's when they unloaded into his BMW, taking Tupac out. This was a story that most people believed. Tupac was taken out because he was trying to be a tough guy with some real gang members. But was this really ever the reason? For 27 years, the police weren't able to make an arrest of any of those responsible for his passing. But just a few days ago, that all changed. A couple days back, Keefy D was arrested for his involvement in the crimes against Tupac Shakur. He also revealed that even though a fight had broken out that night between Orlando and Pac, they decided to take Tupac out for an alternative reason. According to Keefy D, the real reason they decided to eliminate Tupac that night was because there was $1 million bounty on Pac's head, a bounty that was allegedly put on by no other than the gatekeeper P. Diddy himself. According to Keefy D, who was connected to Diddy because his Crip gang worked as his security in LA.
Greenback.
How's it go? How's the conversation go? I mean, okay, listen, I'll do it, but I need $500,000, or, you know, I've got somebody who will do it, but I need $300,000. I mean, we need really specific details regarding that.
Yeah, we want $1 million.
You said you walked downstairs. Did he say, come meet me downstairs?
Yeah, he said, come on downstairs and talk to me.
Oh, he tells you, seriously, man, I need to get rid of these guys. And he's looking at you in the eyes and he's like scared.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, the specific reason he asked you to come downstairs and talk to him was about that thing, not about liquor or anything. It was about that. Okay.
You tell him we'll do it for $1 million, and he's like, okay, I'll do it for $1 million. He agrees. You shake on it or something like that.
Yeah. What happened? Gentlemen, he like, man, I'll shit out.
Hey, Puffy, the gods have spoken. It's your turn. I know you didn't think you was gonna ball forever and do all this dirt and get away with it forever. No. Puffy, it don't work that way. See, the Prince of Darkness, oh, he rewards you. He rewards all y'all. All y'all that's getting rewarded. That goes for you too, Jay-Z. He rewards y'all. But he coming to collect. See, Puffy, you fucked up with me when you allegedly put that bag on my boy Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight. Yeah, my 2 niggas. Yeah, you did that. Allegedly. But when you had something to do, allegedly, with Kim, your kid's mother, oh, you fucked up right there. Oh, you fucked up right there. That was one of God's angels. Oh, yeah. He seen you, Puffy. He seen you. When you thought nobody seen what you did to her, allegedly, yeah, he seen you. Lawyer up, Puffy. That Keefy D arrest, they don't want Keefy D. It's been 27 years. They want Keefy D to tell on you, Puffy. Because remember, he said he never got paid. He said you destroyed his empire and Suge's empire. Oh, you better lawyer up, buddy.
Puffy gave Zip $1 million that was supposed to be handed over, and Zip ended up keeping it. And I remember when I interviewed TK Kirkland, who was actually roommates with Zip at one point. They were that close. He actually said, yeah.
The Fed said that too.
He said that shit actually happened. Well, the story that has circulated was that after Tupac got killed, Puffy allegedly gave the money.
I heard
to Zip.
Yes.
And Zip was supposed to give the money to Keefe and them.
Yes.
But he never gave the money to him.
But thank God he never gave him the money, right? Think about it. If he gave the money, Puffy would be in prison now, money for hire, a murder for hire. So thank God. It's just a true story. I'm not saying yes or no, but if he would have gave them the money, it'd have been a murder for hire and Puffy would be locked up.
Yeah, I said he's a dirty motherfucker.
Yeah, and he even said that, like, in retrospect, that was probably the best thing that could have ever happened to Puffy. By Zip stealing the money, now Puffy isn't connected to that shit. Or else it would have been like a murder for hire or something, you know what I'm saying?
The FBI said that.
So the FBI told you
said
the
he
same
was
thing.
a dirty motherfucker, yeah.
So the FBI told you that Zip kept that money as well.
They said Zip's a dirty motherfucker. Everybody crossed you. You're the last one to know every fucking thing. Even lawyers, your friends, everybody can cross your ass. You just don't know. Even the dudes you was riding in the car with every day, like a low jack.
Now, I'm gonna tell you this about them niggas over there was at death row, because I was over there with them. Them niggas let my nigga get killed. They let my nigga get shot up, so fuck them. That's on the real, if you really want to know the truth. And then they go out and write books and, come on, man, knock it off, man. Come on, knock it off, man. I'm gonna keep it 100.
I'm gonna say this,
fuck
though.
them.
Niggas shot me 5 times. I came out of jail and sold 5 million. Them niggas can't fuck with us. That fat fuck only sold 2 million. Fat motherfucking big. Fuck that peace shit. I ain't even trying to make peace. Fuck them all. So fuck your bitch in the clique you claim. West side when we ride, come equipped with game. You claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife. We bust on bad boys, nigga.
Is that Reggie Wright Jr., a former Compton police officer and the head of security for Death Row Records, was the one responsible for bringing allegedly dirty cops into the Death Row inner circle. In trying to reach him, we were able to set up a meeting with his father, Reggie Wright Sr., who was a captain in the Compton Police Department during the Death Row years. Reggie and Suge both grew up in this area?
Quite frankly, Suge lived just 2 blocks over.
I need to ask Reggie Sr. about his son's connections to Death Row. Did you allow your officers to work for Death Row?
No.
Off duty?
No. Nor did my chief approve of it. I didn't approve of that connection because I know the perceptions. I would have liked to make some of that good money on the side, but that's just not appropriate, in my opinion. Suge Knight offered me the job, called me, we had a meeting. He asked me would I be over his security of Death Row. And my exact words to Suge was, no, I can't do that. Half of the people that's working for you, I'm investigating right now, and I'm gonna put them in jail, was my exact word. I'm not the guy for that, Suge. Within about 3 weeks or a month afterwards, I found out that Suge had got with my son. They had got together. He had helped him to get his security started. He was working. But my son at the time was a grown man with his own family.
How close was the relationship between Death Row Records and the Compton Police Department?
I don't know that there was any real relationship other than Reggie Wright Jr. and some Compton officers doing some work for Death Row. I didn't really like the relationship. Like I told my son it wasn't the best interest, but I couldn't run his life, and I didn't.
We've established that members of Compton and LA police forces work for Death Row Records despite the department policies that prohibited that. The question now is whether any of them were dirty enough to participate in a plot to kill Tupac and Suge Knight. And as an officer, is there police corruption within the LAPD?
Corruption in law enforcement goes hand in hand. And for a lot of officers, it brings out the worst in them. A lot of temptations, there's a lot of drugs, a lot of opportunities to make money. And some people come out of it okay and some don't.
So the answer to your question is yeah. There's a problem within the department. I had 8 officers that I worked with that went to prison for various felonies.
8.
Wow. 8.
Did any of them work with Death Row?
Yeah, they did. In fact, the whole influence of Death Row on LAPD, particularly the black police officers, is very interesting. Black officers were working off-duty jobs at movie theaters, auto body shops. So they were making between $17 to $20 an hour. The white officers had a monopoly on the better off-duty jobs. They were working for celebrities. They were making like $50 an hour. And the black officers were kept out of that. But Death Row Records wanted to hire exclusively black officers. So all of a sudden you had officers now who had the opportunity to make $75 an hour under the table, tax-free. And so these officers were welcomed into that whole hip-hop community. And not only were they working for them, but they accepted them and they became part of the entourage. So now they were celebrities. There's so much money that was being made with Death Row Records, money that wasn't just funneled to patrol officers doing off-duty work. There are sergeants, there are other people that were paid off.
Since these cops were getting paid so well by Death Row Records, was it in their best interest to block the investigation into the murder of Tupac so they could keep the cash flow going?
Do you see any implications there where there was some conspiracy to cover up the murder of Tupac Shakur?
Based on the lack of evidence, the lack of follow-up, I believe there's something there, something to that.
Where's the due process of the law here?
Well, when you have friends in the department, when you're in that good old boy system, there is no due process.
You can't survive out here by yourself. The police ain't nothing but a gang. The National Guard is a gang. The Army is a gang. We learn all our gang from the government. You know what I'm saying? We learn all this gun from the government. You know, somebody get a gun, the Gov get a bigger gun. You know what I'm saying? How they gonna show us that thing we can't pick up? So I'm picking up, feel me?
We've established that there could have been a motive for the insider takeover of Death Row, and under Reggie Wright Jr., allegedly corrupt police officers could have been involved. Now we need to establish exactly how those police officers could have orchestrated what happened that night.
What do we have? We have technically proficient cops who can run the radios and they can run pretty much any scam. And now what's the scam that they're tasked to do? These cops do not like Tupac from the minute he shows up.
So the cops working at Death Row don't like him.
Police do not like people who point guns at them. And so if you're labeled a cop killer because you point guns at cops and you pull the trigger and you're all of a sudden going to work with a bunch of cops, you're probably going to have a problem. We get to that night in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Reggie Wright Jr., who is the head of security, he's controlling where everybody's going to be that night. When you look at who is the bodyguard that they hung out to dry, they put Frank Alexander with Tupac and only Frank Alexander with Tupac.
We were told that we could not carry weapons and no one should have a weapon on them. To leave our weapon into our hotel room. Then we said, well, why would we leave them in a hotel room? Why don't we just leave them in our car? All of the weapons were going to be at Club 662 left in our vehicles.
I was a little upset that I was taken off of them, and I got into a little argument with Reggie Wright at lunch over it.
Michael Moore was another Death Row security officer who was told by Reggie Wright Jr. not to carry his weapon that night, but he refused.
I think the reason they removed me from Tupac is because I was one of the few people that wouldn't buy into not carrying your weapon. And during no part of that day did I take my weapon off. And Mr. Wright knew that. So they removed me off Tupac so there wouldn't be a weapon there. And that's what I believe.
Not only did Frank Alexander not have his gun that night in Las Vegas, he was also without the radio he usually carried.
There again, our communications we didn't have together. Normally, Frank and I would both have radios, and Frank could just say, hey, Mike, we're over here. There was no radio again. That day, Frank doesn't have a radio, and we have confusion.
But Michael Moore did have his radio that night, and what he heard immediately after the shooting was shocking.
While I was working at 662, I heard something over the Nextels that we all carry for security, and what I heard was, got him. Then someone else came on the radio and said, hey, don't say nothing over the radio.
According to this theory, only the cops working for death row will have guns because they're the only ones who would have the legal right to carry them. Were the voices that Michael Moore heard over the Nextel the voices of those cops? Alexander and Moore both have very convincing testimonies. As an attorney, I would have personally liked to interview them both. Unfortunately, they both died under very suspicious circumstances in 2013. Just 2 of the 26 mysterious deaths surrounding the murder of Tupac Shakur.
How you doing this morning? I'm good, man.
Tupac's friend and fellow outlaw member Idi Amin has harbored questions for 20 years about the security that night.
When we got to Vegas and the way we was moving to Vegas, we made fundamental mistakes. We unfortunately had to learn a very tough and hard lesson. I felt like Pac and Suge shouldn't have been riding in the same car. I felt like we should have had tinted windows and bulletproof vehicles, and cars should have been flanked on each side of their cars.
Was the security guard with you all?
Yeah, he was there.
And who was that security guard?
Frank.
Frank Alexander?
Correct.
Did Frank have a gun with him that night?
No, he didn't.
He didn't have a gun with him? One of the major stars in America, and he's assigned to protect him, and he doesn't have a gun?
Right. The late great Gaddafi, on the way to 662 after the fight, asked Frank, "Where's your gun?" And at that very moment, that's when we found out he didn't have a weapon.
There was only one person that night that could have given the order for Frank Alexander not to carry his gun, and that person is Reggie Wright Jr.
Just after the Mike Tyson-Bruce Seldon fight, Shakur, along with record company executive Marion Suge Knight, headed for a nightclub. But while stopping at this intersection, a car with 4 people pulled up and opened fire on Shakur and Knight.
Tupac Shakur was shot several times in the chest. The driver, his record producer, was grazed in the head.
He's returned to the intensive care unit tonight after another surgery, still listed in critical condition.
All week long, fans of Tupac have gathered here outside the hospital.
He's undergone 2 operations since coming here. He's had his right lung removed. He is intermittently conscious. Jesse Jackson's been here. Family continues to keep vigil, and despite early reports that his wounds were not life-threatening, people at the hospital here continue to tell us that he is in very serious condition.
At 4:03 this afternoon, Tupac Shakur was pronounced dead.
I was there the night that this happened, right? I was on a detail I just left, did a detail with Pac, Gridlock. We just finished the movie Gridlock. And myself, Captain Shaheed Muhammad out of the Nation of Islam, but we had the Nation of Islam on mic at the time. And so this guy Zip, that was supposed to have given him the gun, and I've been talking to Big Low and Abdullah that was on the detail, and Anthony. We were all in the dressing room after the fight. Like I said, I don't know this guy Keefe D at all. I don't remember him, but Zip was in the locker room at that time. Zip left the locker room, went to the underground, and went to Mike's house. Mike had just had a baby, his little daughter, and they went back to the house off of Eastern. So Zip, from my understanding, left with the Mike Tyson entourage. With all the cameras and everything, where's the picture of him giving Keefe D a gun? Now, gangbanging is real in the city of Bompton, California. This is some serious shit. Now, this brother Orlando, he's a Southside Crip. Arch enemies with the mob, Lewis Park, Hollywood, and Limehood. Those are arch enemies. At the time, Death Row was the biggest thing since Mother's Oatmeal. Suge bought about almost 1,000 tickets for Pyrus to come to the fight. You know what I'm saying? Any Crip
out of their mind if they think they're going to come to Vegas by themselves. Orlando's a gang member. On that footage, why would he stand there in the auditorium by himself? Keefy D said it was 3 of them came together. Where was the other 2 men when he got into the altercation? This thing was it's deeper. Keefy D ain't the sharpest tool in the shed, for one. You dig what I'm saying? So now we say, well, from the incident, when this incident first happened in the MGM Grand, they're talking about that Orlando got beat down. So when did he meet with Keefy D and the other 2 guys and get in the white Cadillac? From Compton to Las Vegas is less than 400 miles. We all carry guns. Why would a man way from New York have to give a man from California a gun? How does that sound illogically? And then when you look at the incident, they came out of Las Vegas Boulevard, came down Las Vegas Boulevard to Flamingo. 662 was on Flamingo, 1700 East Flamingo. So when they got shot, if Keefy D was coming from where the club was and looking for him, and they made this massive U-turn, how is Suge's rims, he had to hit the curb on the right side, and you came up on the right side? Well, how does it, and out of this whole thing, nobody sees the car. It's a white Cadillac. How do you get back to Compton and never get stopped? I'm telling Keefy D this, out of my mouth to his, he better do a snowfall. He better do a freeway Rick. And tell him, because partner, your story don't line up. Now they don't need you anymore. Now they're gonna come up with some shit called forensic. Niggas can't beat forensics. You understand what I mean? And he ain't sharp enough to what he doing with a computer. He can't play on his phone. The man is a dummy. What would they be looking for in his house 30 years later? Man, it's time to eliminate him because this is bigger than what people think. It was a move to get rid of Suge. Suge did not play with the rules that white America wanted him to play. And it wasn't white America. This is a Compton thing. And it's the elements in Compton that happened, and they seen where they could make a move. Look at the people that profited. Everybody that didn't have the story of what they wanted to be hit. Frank Alexander, dead. Michael Moore, dead. Montreal, dead. All the members in the car with Orlando, but Keefy D, dead. How long? So why only him still alive? He only alive for right now.
Yeah, I told y'all that. And one of the outlaws, Mutau, said he never heard it, but he had other outlaws member has told him that. And so I was glad to hear Mutau when I saw an interview either with us or with Vlad that Mutau even said that's true. But yeah, Tupac wasn't going back to prison. He told us. He used to always ask David Kenner. I heard, been privy to that conversation 2 or 3 times. Just tell me what's going on with my case. I don't want to have to go back to prison. I don't want to have to go back to prison. And David was like, oh, well, you know, we working on it. You know, it's looking good. It's looking good. Just tell me. Y'all better tell me before I have to go, because I ain't going back. He never, ever, ever said he was going to do it. But he said, because I don't want to have one of y'all laws put a bullet in my head if I have to go back to prison. I told y'all that story. I'm glad Aunt Gloria told the story.
To the club, we asked what was going on. Everybody was finna leave. They was finna shut 662 down. Suge said no, he gonna be all right. He was hit in his medallion. So everybody kept partying. We all stayed there and we partied all night.
The photo that was released, I don't know how she got it. I probably have suspicions. It wasn't released legitimately. It shouldn't have been out there. And I can tell you that it was not a police photo, in that it was not a photograph we had taken during the autopsy, because the photo that was released was a post-procedure photo. We don't take post-procedure photos. The only photos we take are of evidentiary value, as in wounds or things like that, where the medical examiner, the forensic pathologist, says this is something that's relevant. We just don't take pictures of dead bodies just to do it. And we sure don't take pictures of dead bodies after they've been autopsied and sewn back up, so to speak, preparation to be transported to the mortuary for whatever the next of kin want done with the remains. So, you know, I think it was tacky that the picture was out there. I guess I know that that's just the way it is, though. And I know right away that the thing was $100,000 for a photo, an autopsy photo, and that's why our case file was locked up, because we sure didn't want any of our photos released out there in public. So yeah, I can tell you with 100% certainty that that particular photo was not from our file, but I can't tell you who took it or who released it.
I would like to also comment on Kathy Scott and her recent interview that she did with Anton Beatty. You know, I listened to this interview with Kathy Scott, and I like Kathy. Kathy's appeared in a couple of my documentaries, and things was really good. And I thought that the information that she was bringing, it was decent. Okay, one of the things about Kathy Scott, like I said, I like Kathy, and one of the things about Kathy Scott, though, if you want to talk about inconsistencies, is her inconsistency on what she says in one documentary to the next. It's like she's playing her card hands above the table and then below the table. Okay, a hand on top and a hand underneath. In our documentary, Tupac Assassination Reckoning, we did not edit or cut anything in this documentary here concerning Kathy Scott. And the reason that we did not is because we want to show where she told us what her beliefs were about Orlando Anderson and about things that happened that led up to it and that happened at the MGM. Then she turned around just a couple of weeks ago in 2009 and told Anton Beatty something completely different. I listened to her interview and I listened very carefully to it, and her inconsistencies are bad. The information in her book is bad. Okay, and I'm not dinging her book or anything like that. No different than the family, the estate. I don't like the fact that she put that autopsy picture in her book with Tupac, and I personally have told her that, and I asked her why did she do that, and the only motive that I saw for it was for her to sell her book, because people will want to see that picture. I thought it was wrong. I thought that it was a ding. I thought it was unclassy, and not to dwell too much on that, Kathy Scott is this reporter that didn't know anything about hip hop, didn't know anything about Biggie nor Tupac, and then all of a sudden she becomes an expert on Biggie and Tupac. Again, you get in where you fit in. You didn't fit in from the beginning, so why get in and try to be a part of something because you started pulling Source magazine, Vibe magazine, Rolling Stone articles. You start educating yourself about Tupac Shakur or about Biggie Smalls, and you go out and decide to write a book. You didn't live that life. You didn't know anything about that person. And I know that we have the First Amendment rights and we can, speak and say what we want to, but there's a fine line between actually being someone like myself and other people that were very close to Tupac, that was with Tupac, that knew Tupac and Biggie, to be able to sit down, do a documentary or write a story from a book about these people. You, Kathy Scott, you, Anton Beatty, and I'm not picking on you two, but you two, from this interview, you're wrong.
Official cause of his death.
Multiple gunshot wounds. He was shot 3 times, I believe, or 3 that I identified.
Yeah.
And we had him identified by fingerprints. So I didn't know him personally. So if it wasn't Tupac Shakur, I don't know who it was. But all the identification we had was authentic.
Would it be possible to fake a coroner's certificate?
Oh, anything's possible. But I don't think it was.
I sorted some things out, and I have here a copy of Tupac Shakur's driver's license, and that was issued in May that year. And this is the official coroner's report. And if you compare those two with each other, he had gained 47 pounds in 4 months. That's really strange, is it?
Well, weight on a body is determined by putting the gurney and the decedent on a scale.
Yeah.
And that scale may or may not be accurate. So sometimes the weight is off, and sometimes the height is off. An individual standing up is usually shorter than he is when he's lying down.
Do you know if there's an official death certificate of Tupac Shakur?
Yeah. I have one.
You have one because you issued it.
Well, it's kept in our file. Now, you have to remember that this file is restricted as far as circulation because it's an open murder.
They cremated him already the next day, and that's not a normal procedure, is it?
Yes, it is.
Really?
Sure. If the family wants it that way.
This was the photograph of the autopsy of Tupac Shakur. Do you think it would be possible to manipulate a photo in such a way that it would seem real, but actually is fake?
Absolutely so. Sure.
So this could be a fake picture?
Could be. I don't think it is. Because I see everything here that I saw at the time of the autopsy.
We didn't really know exactly what we heard. We heard a lot of screaming, a lot of cars screeching. We were just hanging out, taking photos at the time. We ran up the street as cops were running past us, and by the time we got here, they were already taking, which now I found out was Tupac, into the helicopter away. He had been shot. We ran up the street as cops were running past us, and by the time we got here, they were already taking, which now I found out was Tupac, into the helicopter away. He had been shot.
I was there at the hospital when Tupac got shot, when they came and got me, and I went to the hospital, and I spoke to the doctor, and the last words that Tupac said to Suge was, "Yo, I just want to let you know that I love you."
Can you go into detail about the conversation at the hospital? I guess somebody had said that you had spoken, or you had said that previously that you had spoken to Tupac when he was in the hospital or something, so I just want to see if you could clear that up a little bit.
Yeah, well, you know, when I got there, you know, they were talking about, they actually had mixed it up. They said Suge got shot in the head, he's about to die, and Tupac just got wounded. And, you know, come to find out it was just the opposite. So, you know, we just sat there and, you know, talked to the doctors, and they, you know, let them really do their thing, and we really stayed out of the way. But, you know, the conversations that were had, I remember talking to Suge and talking to the doctors when I was there, and Tupac told them before they took him upstairs, said, "Suge, man, I just want to tell you that I love you." We did all have that conversation.
You know, on this footage of Tupac walking in the MGM lobby, I don't know if any of you ever noticed this, but he walks right past his body double. It's an orange shirt under different lights. It looks darker in the dark, and under bright lights, it almost looks yellow. Tupac's walking in, and it's a guy standing in the middle right with his back to Tupac. Now keep in mind, Tupac's slew-footed, Tupac smoked a cigarette, Tupac's kind of hunched over. This guy is standing right there. When Tupac walks past him, he's standing the exact same way as Tupac. Got a cigarette in his hand. He's got Tupac complete outfit on, but it looks different because of the light. He's standing in the shadow. Tupac is under the light. He's got the same chain on. You can see it's the same chain because it's hanging out. You can see the back of the chain out the back of his shirt, just like Pac's is. And when Tupac walks past him, he says something to Tupac. Tupac walks a little bit past him and then acknowledges him with some type of hand gesture. Look at it, it's right here. This is the body double. That's the exact same outfit. Shirt, pants to shoes, to the jewelry, bald head, the whole kit and caboodle. Shoes, pants, shirt, jewelry. My question is, I don't know who's who. Because that shirt looks awful light that Tupac's wearing coming into the MGM. And then you see it's obviously a lot darker in different scenes of the footage. But this guy standing there is dressed to a T like Tupac. Strange. Did Tupac have a body double in Vegas? I don't know. You tell me.
This is probably the craziest conspiracy theory I've ever heard, and we're going to talk about it right now. Did Tupac really fake his own death, and is he still alive? A lot of people seem to think so, and I'll tell you why. And if you don't know the story about Tupac, he was shot 4 times in 1996 in Las Vegas and died. But there has been so many Tupac sightings lately that people just don't believe he's dead. People truly believe that they've seen him in New York, New Jersey, Cuba, and now New Mexico. And now a filmmaker who truly believes he's alive and well living in New Mexico is filming a movie about it that will be released in 2021.
That speaks for itself right there. He wasn't feeling comfortable with what he was receiving, I guess, as far as his royalties or whatever.
So that's the completion of that obligation as I know it. And I tell you, he had movie scripts and he was truly interested in that. People were talking to him about it.
Yeah, he's done. He was done. He was done. He was done. There were meetings with attorneys. Yaz and I, yeah, he was done. He was done. He had fulfilled his obligation with death row and no intentions of renewing any sort of paper agreement.
To Boss, when Tupac arrived in Vegas for Fight Night, he was informed of a planned hit on him, and that's when he formulated an escape plan which included a stunt double and a strategic aerial exit. Boss also said that New Mexico was the perfect hideout for the rapper since the FBI could not access the tribal land without the tribal council's permission.
When certain FBI agencies are looking for you, the first thing they're going to do is block the airport so you can't travel out. So the best way to escape is through helicopter, private helicopter, to another state.
Meanwhile, other fans speculate that Shakur was weary of the bloodshed that accompanied rap beef and longed for an escape, holing up in Cuba with his aunt Assata Shakur, who sought asylum after breaking up from a New Jersey prison following a hotly contested murder conviction. Another popular theory is that Tupac's tattoos contain clues to his survival. For example, some fans believe that the 50 tattoo on his right arm is a reference to the 50th state, Hawaii, and that Tupac is living there in secret. Others point to the Machiavelli tattoo on his back, which they argue is a reference to
the game just isn't the same, it's changing. Dre's quitting, Jay's quitting now. It's just gangsters just saying the same shit. It's ancient, it's fake, and it's making me so bored. I'ma just make a new language. Cover you cover, yabba oh baba uba. Uba kasaba bek mother give it big do a tuba. Samala do malama. I'm not a human, I'm a supersonic, new robotic, suicidal Unabomber. You think I'm the new summer, Prestix, I'm the new Madonna. Jeffrey Dahmer left me with this legacy to carry on. A lot of talking rumors on us, who's the hottest to be honest. Hip-hop ain't been the same since Tupac moved to Cuba on us.
And Chesimard, who calls herself Assata Shakur, talking to me in Havana, Cuba.
talking of her fears that the New Jersey State Police will somehow find a way to get to her.
You know, these people will stop at nothing.
In 1979, Shakur escaped from a New Jersey prison where she was serving life for the murder of State Trooper Werner Forrester. Police said he was executed with his own gun.
It was such an unfair trial, by an all-white jury.
Joanne Chesimard is the #1 fugitive for the New Jersey State Police.
The head of the state police intently watched a tape of my interview with the convicted cop killer as she claimed state troopers tortured her in the hospital.
You know, they would stick their hands in the wounds. Does it hurt here? Does it hurt here?
It's been almost 25 years, and I'm sure that she's replayed this and turned it around to her benefit many, many times.
Shakur portrayed herself as a fighter for racial justice by what she called armed struggle if necessary.
People have the right to free themselves from oppression by whatever means they deem possible.
She is not a heroine. She's a murderer.
Colonel Williams called Shakur's fears of police assassination ludicrous, but then he gave me this startling comment.
We would do everything we could to get her off the island of Cuba, and if that includes kidnapping, we would do it.
Colonel Williams told me the police determination to recapture Chesimard is fired by the memory of Trooper Forrester on the memorial wall.
She killed my husband.
Rose Forrester, the trooper's widow. Their son was just 3.5 years old when her husband was gunned down.
Say to her that I am totally sorry that her husband was killed. I did not kill him.
She is sorry? I doubt it that she is sorry. No. I think they know that what they were doing that night.
Anyone who suffers a loss is in great pain, and I hope that she understands my pain as well.
She don't know what suffering is.
As for Colonel Williams' statement to me that he was prepared to kidnap Joanne Chesimard from Cuba, later in the interview he said that only lawful actions would be taken, but he didn't elaborate.
Take him down, bustin' round. Take him down.
Yeah, I'm back on the motherfucking warpath. How the fuck can you snitch on yourself? You're done, nigga. Mumbling ass motherfuckers. We gon' get you. Best believe we gon' get you. Can you feel your time running out, nigga? I can hear you breathing, believing that they won't notice what's been coming out your mouth from a worldwide mind figure. So I got thugs in every prison ready to pull a shank or just slug niggas. Don't get it twisted, Keith, you're just a bitch to me. Snitching on yourself while I'm here making history. If it ain't cancer, then my niggas gon' get you. Slack you up, your fat fuck, you be feeling the rapture. Why you shaking, nigga? Cause I be breaking niggas. Long after my death, ain't no way you can erase me, nigga. Sick, I pistol picking troops with nothing to lose. Strategizing moves to turn red was blue. Best believe they are coming for you, creeping in the dark. We are panthers. Ain't no fucking weakness in our hearts. So on out, nigga. It's when my battle in this fight to make them pay for every day that they enjoyed life. Take them down. Grab your blocks when they see these palms. No need for cops, Kiffy D's a charm. You shot me, but your punks cannot finish. Cause my spirit is vivid, you cannot kill it. Nigga, we take them down. Grab your blocks when you see these palms. Run some shots when you see these palms. You shot me, but your punks cannot finish. Cause my spirit is vivid, you cannot kill it. Nigga, I see you screaming out the window with the key to the city, strung out on poppers. You skinny ass Miss Brilly, Miss Biggie, and times change nowadays. Half these rappers a game, but you's a fact. Nigga sucking dick, but so was your forte, puppy. You forsake through the money you make, but fucking over your friends and fucking your friends. Snakes gonna get what they deserve. 2 slugs to the head, and it's gonna be the last time your ass is leaking on your bed, nigga. I'm a threat, even to death. Niggas who gave up on life still believe in the West. You know I raised these thugs to be strong while your faggots was hiding in the closet playing my song. Trust the bomb on the warpath, not you ever chiller. West side outlaw, still bad boy killer. Let my niggas complete the mission and clean up. No witness left behind to tell the tale when we bust taking down. Grab your blocks when they see these palms. No need for cops, Kiffy D's a charm. You shot me, but your punks cannot finish. Cause my spirit is vivid, you cannot kill it. Nigga, we take it down. Grab your blocks when you see these palms. Run some shots when you see these palms. You shot me, but your punks cannot finish. Cause my spirit is vivid, you cannot kill it. Get ready for war. I let them niggas know it's on for life. Even though I'm gone, what I spawn has been born to fight thug life. I was first to bomb form, so let me finish the minutes. What they have built, they wanna dirty up my image. A minute to fuck him up, so did he go buckle up? You ain't shit but the number one faker to suck a cock, niggas. They bit the truth so hard that it came back fucking them like it was planned from the start. Talking shit, it was a setup, a nigga, you know. Ain't no counting my ride, so where the fuck did I throw it? Better own up through the dirt that you did. Cause a motherfucker on life might just bury your kids. The cat's ass taking the best of you. But believe that my niggas will gladly take up the rest of you. We born first, born last, let me break it down. They ain't safe no more, my thugs, let us take them down. I done told you niggas the last time. I ain't never gonna leave till this bitches get what they deserve. We stay rolling like it's 96. Ain't no trick that can touch us. You see these niggas running with a bunch of slugs. We bad boy killers, KPD killers, still busting on gay ass puppies. It's been decades, but I said it before. Don't make enemies with me. Shout out to all my thugs to keep the legacy alive. Born first, the nation. Feel free to vote.